Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Now What? Today we're going to be talking with Marianne Jordan, who is a teacher and facilitator of the human energy field, and she's going to be telling us about her story and how she got introduced to the human energy field and what exactly that means. We say those words, human energy field, and our imaginations can just go in a million different directions. We're going to narrow it down and let Marianne be our guide in this process. How you doing today, Marianne?
I'm doing fine, Scott. You?
I'm doing good. So this human energy field and this workshop you have coming up on Sunday the 18th, correct?
Correct.
And that's going to be at the Unity of Bay City?
Yeah, from 12 to 2.
12 to 2. Very good. Tell me about this.
Okay, maybe I will start by telling you how I became acquainted with this concept. I'm a retired nurse, but at the time, this was a good maybe 20, 30 years ago. I went to as an all-day conference for psychiatric nurses. That was my field, mental health and psychiatric nursing.
Okay.
And one of the presentations was on therapeutic touch. And I didn't know what this was. I thought it was just, it sounded interesting, like touching in a therapeutic way.
Like a massage or something.
Yeah, and what it is, it's a healing technique of working with the human energy field. So you work with that energy. And it was to me, it was like the light went on because it was answered some ways I could be working on some of my own health challenges. It was a way of looking how you can intervene with a person in terms of, say, how can we help this person physically or psychologically? When you work with the energy field, you're working with the whole person. So that was very exciting to me.
The whole person. The
whole person, the physical aspect, the mental aspect, the emotional aspect, the spiritual.
Okay.
It's all there in the energy field.
Right.
I think that's very exciting. So I went to workshops about therapeutic touch, and then I started doing that technique of healing. So that was my introduction to the human energy field.
Okay. So you took the class as part of your training for the psychiatric, or was it? This
was just a 1-hour presentation for a one-day workshop. So yeah, and then on my own, I took other classes on therapeutic touch.
But that one, lit you up, and you're like,
absolutely, yeah.
What was it about it that intrigued you the most?
It was a way of working, like I said, with the whole person. You're not just looking at them as, how can I help you physically?
Right.
And working in mental health, saying, okay, I'm going to use a psychological approach. But it was really looking at people as a whole person.
Okay.
But also working with their energy field in a healing way.
So you took this one class and it lit you up, and you took these other classes, and then you started applying it professionally?
Mm-hmm.
And what was that like?
Well, it was very exciting. And after, I don't know how long I was using it with people and thinking, more people need to know about this. So I became very interested in teaching it, and that's when I started teaching it. Actually, that led me to take further workshops in therapeutic touch, so I was more knowledgeable in what I taught.
So how did the people you were applying these practices to, how did they react? Was it like night and day? Were you like, oh, wow, they lit up when they saw it? Or?
No, I wouldn't say it was like night and day, but you could see changes. They were very receptive to it.
So then you decided you wanted to become a teacher of the...
Yeah, I decided that I really thought this was a very helpful technique, and that I wanted to teach it. So I taught it in different places. And this is just one aspect. Usually when I'm teaching it, I just, I talk about the energy field. Then, we learn the technique of it. I'm doing this one class because I think it's important for people to realize about the human energy field that is what we are. and all the implications of that. It's very exciting.
So you say that it's something that we are. Can you go in a little bit deeper on that?
It includes all aspects of ourselves. There are various diagrams of the energy field around the body, and it shows the chakra system. It shows the subtle bodies around people. The important thing is to realize that it's not that we have an energy field, but it's like the body is almost like an atom. So, with the protons in the middle. Then you see surrounded by these various subtle, they call them subtle fields, energy fields around the body, and that's the etheric, the emotional, the mental, and then the spiritual.
And when you're working with these energy fields, can you yourself feel them? And you're guiding them? Or?
Yeah. Different techniques of working with the energy field. If probably a lot of people have heard about Reiki.
Right.
And Reiki.
Most people are familiar with, right?
Yeah, Reiki. Okay, so you're balancing the chakras. You work on the chakra system. Therapeutic touch, you work on the whole field. You don't necessarily go systematic through the chakras. So what you're doing is you're scanning the field because you can feel it.
Yeah.
So you're scanning the person's field, and then sometimes you can feel there's a block here. It's not a smooth flow of energy, and you work on the block. But that's what you're working with.
In a way, it's kind of like, with the physical body, if you're massaging somebody, you're feeling for the knot, and you feel the knot, and you can kind of give that knot some love and attention, and hopefully it releases. And so I'm feeling that the energy field is the same way. You can feel it.
You can feel it.
Right. Does it take you a little bit of practice to
Yes.
tune with it, or?
Definitely it takes practice. When I first started using the technique, I'm basically a feeler. Some people can see the field, but I'm a feeler. But when I first started doing the technique, I could not feel a thing. And I went on sheer faith.
Yeah.
And so the more I did this, the more experienced I became and sensitive to the fields. Usually when I first beginning therapeutic touch, I'll teach you work 2 to 4 inches from the body, but I found that our fields extend way, way out.
Right.
And so that you can just back up, 10 feet, but you can really back up and still work on that field.
And I imagine it's the more you practice it, the more you do it, the more sensitive you'll be to it.
Yeah.
And then that explains a lot for maybe the listener who, outside of the therapeutic aspect, when maybe 2 people meet and one of them has a lot of joy and they're feeling energy from that person, that could be, the reason for that, because they're picking up on that energy field. Or if they meet a stranger and the exact opposite happens, they get the heebie-jeebies. They're like, oh, I need to stay clear of that person. So it's like this intuitive sensor in a way.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, Scott, because we're energy fields and we're constantly interacting with other energy fields. So that when we meet a person, or you can walk into a room, that part of you, your energy field, is also interacting with these other fields. There's sometimes certain people you're drawn to go and talk with. And it's like we like being around people with a high level of positive energy. And there are some people that you just pick up, maybe they're down from whatever, but it's not feeling like a very positive energy. Again, we're interacting with their field, and right. we pick up things about people that don't always consciously register.
So through these training programs and through practice, you get the skill or the intuitive sensor, if you will. And I'm sure it already exists, but whether through upbringing or conditioning throughout life, we have a tendency to be so physical dominant that we turn off those aspects of ourselves, where like that sensor, while it's still there, may need to just be warmed up a little bit. Because I remember when you're little kids, everything is feeling. And even though we didn't use that language, everything was intuition. and it was exploring, but then we shut that down. So this is neat. So people have an opportunity to come to this class on the 18th and reawaken that and just think about it for a while and learn from someone who has a lot of experience, such as yourself. I'm excited. That's really cool. What can people anticipate when they come to the class on the 18th?
There's a woman who works here, Tammy, and she's a very gifted artist. And so she's put together different representations in one picture. So that includes the person, it includes the chakra system, it includes integrating that with the caduceus that people see. Then you see the subtle bodies around the person. And the other thing that people don't realize that we're an electromagnetic system. So we actually work on electrical circuitry. So that's being aware of that is how you move from one polar to another. Part of like taking care of yourself, why drinking water is important.
So when they leave the class, they'll have a little more understanding of the energy field?
And the implications of the energy field, like how do we interact with what I would call the universal field? We interact with that. And one is through intention. Energy follows attention and intention. So we can interact with the universal field. We interact with other fields.
So I like that we interact with intention and attention.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Just that a couple things I'm hoping people take away from this is the fact that we are energy fields. The other thing is that when you learn all the implications of that we're hardly powerless beings. We're very powerful. Powerful.
Very nice. Well, I'm excited. Thank you so much for joining us today. Maybe we can get another episode in pretty soon, another conversation, because I'm very intrigued about all this. I'm hoping that we'll be able to follow up with maybe a upcoming episode. We can hear about how the workshop went for you.
Yeah, I'll be interested to know how people are reacting. Usually people are really interested when I talk to therapeutic touch, Yeah. So.
Well, thank you so much. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Marianne Jordan, teacher and facilitator of the human energy field, on Sunday the 18th, 12 to 2, at the Unity of Bay City.